If you have ever wanted to be a speaker, then this episode is for you. Moll Trotter-Gomez is going to dive in on all the ways you can be a better speaker starting right now. Hey friend, welcome to Milk and Honey with Lemon. The Bible says in Numbers 14:8, and if the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us safely into that land and give it to us. It is a rich land flowing with milk and honey. On this podcast, we talk about stepping into that overflow that God has for us by becoming those ultimate Proverbs 31 women. Hey, I'm Lemon. I am just like you, sister friend. I knew God had something more in store for me, but I couldn't see a way out of the laundry piles. And frankly, I resented that Proverbs 31 woman. How was I going to live up to the hype? That is until I found out how to really step into becoming this Proverbs 31 woman through leadership development. In this podcast, you're going to find financial freedom, leadership growth, and motivation so you'll be able to do all the things God has called you to do with ease and really step into that land of milk and honey. Now, before Molly tells you everything you need to know about becoming a better speaker, if you know that this is for you, then I actually want to invite you to join me in the Kingdom Speaker Academy. We start in April, but there's actually a ton of pre-work that you could be doing, like how to be a master communicator, how to be more confident on stage, how to present like a pro. There's a ton of pre-work that you can do. And so if you know that you want to become a certified Kingdom speaker, which by the way, you can get into our speaking program for less than $400 US. That's crazy. John Maxwell's program is $6,000 and does not come with half of the things that this comes with. And so if you know that this is for you, then I would encourage you to hop on over to the show notes or go to girlpoweralliance.com/lemon and look at trainings and certifications, and you'll see all of the deets on the Kingdom Speaker Academy. Can't wait to see you in there, my friend. Welcome back to the Milk and Honey podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, and I'm so excited because I have my friend Moll Trotter-Gomez on the podcast today. You guys might remember Molly was one of my very first guests when we launched the podcast in January of 2023, which is crazy. It's taken us a full year to get her back on the podcast to talk about all things camera and speaking and just all the incredible things that she does. So quick background on Molly. If you guys did not listen to the first episode to hear her amazing background, Molly is an on-camera confidence coach. She is a co-founder of Girl Power Alliance, which you guys have heard me talk about time and time again. And she is one of our Kingdom Speaker Academy coaches. So thanks for being here, Molly, friend.
Thank you. And it's been amazing just to see what has grown, what has transpired with your podcast. I had zero doubts, but here we are a year later, and I'm honored to be back on.
I'm excited that you're here. Michelle's coming on too, like next week. So I'm a little bit excited to bring you both on and talk about what has changed in the last year, because a lot has changed in the last year. So much.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that before we hit record, all of the things that have transpired in the last year and last week, right? So you just announced the launch of the men's initiative that we're doing, which is partly why we changed the name of the Radiant Speaker Academy. I would love for you to talk about the whole vision behind the Kingdom Speaker Academy now, since you're one of our coaches, friend.
Yes, the Radiant Speaker Academy had such a powerful impact. When you think about speaking, when you think about being an effective communicator, anybody that you follow that's an effective communicator, you are just like, wow, from their storytelling to their body language to their tonality to just the story that they craft with clarity and confidence, right? It's been amazing to see women go through that program. Then we had the certification piece for those that want to take it a step further, actually deliver their Kim 10, which stands for Kingdom Impact Message in 10 minutes on stage. It was quite literally just revival in the room. It was incredible. Even when we first launched, because it's only 1 year under our belt with what was the Radiant Speaker Academy, men were still inquiring about it. I bet the radiant part threw them off. They were like, yeah, radiant is great, but I'm not looking to be radiant. That's not really a word that describes me. So as we've been growing and men have been sharing their interest of, hey, what about us? Can we have an opportunity, resources for men like you have for women? And the answer was yes. So we officially here in 2024 have pre-launched it here in January for the men's side. So we changed the name to the Kingdom Speaker Academy. So men can now come in that class too, because the information that the women are receiving and the men now that they'll be receiving isn't just gender focused. It's how to become an impactful speaker. when you're on social media, when you're on a stage, when you're in a room one-on-one with somebody, what does that look like? So the coaches that are in there sharing and training over 60 plus years of experience. And I'm certain, because we've already heard that men want that experience, they want that mentorship as well. So we are very excited, had an amazing year last year. We expect to probably more than double in size for this first round. We have 2 rounds this year. And the last thing that I'll share is, because people are like, kingdom speakers, I want more. That is something that you're seeing a lot of. We even have a kingdom speaking event that will be coming up, where kingdom speakers, including our certified Kim 10 speakers, will be able to speak on a stage. And we'll have more information on that with an event coming later this year. But once we said, yes, let's step into it, the Lord is like, bang, boom, here's all the things that we're going to do. And just the exponential growth has been amazing to watch.
Oh, I love that so much. So, of course, guys, you guys know I was part of that first round of certified speakers, and I remember telling people in the very beginning, probably before you guys even said this out loud, I'm like, yeah, the vision is that we'll host like our own TED Talk events, except they'll be kingdom focused. And now here we are having this conversation, and I'm so excited about what is happening. So, after going through that first round, and you guys taught 2 rounds, right? And then we had the certification. Have you guys had to change a little bit of what you're doing in the course? Has the direction changed, the focus changed, the way you show up and teach it changed? Has any of that changed for this third round coming up in April?
Yeah, for the third round, so when we went through the first round, we went in there saying, hey, do we need any tweaks? And really, there wasn't many tweaks like at all, because the information was so well received. So the second round, because we do about 2 a year, grew from there. This third round, we feel pretty good and pretty confident with what we're doing. It's working. Women stepping into that. Now men that are going to be stepping into that, and just seeing that exponential growth. So it just shows us that we're definitely in the right lane. Not that I'm sure there's going to be other things that pop up. And one of the things I love about our training staff for the Kingdom Speaker Academy is we're very on the fly people. If we feel like, hey, you know what, this is something that's really needed, let's implement it. And before every round starts, we actually send out a form to everybody that's in the class saying, hey, what are your expectations? What do you want to get out of it? So we're getting feedback in the beginning that we carefully go over before and after each round to see, hey, did we deliver? Did we deliver? Did these people get what they asked for? And majority of the time it's yes, but we're always open to seeing how we want to expand and grow. But what I know, being in this field of speaking, I've been a speaker coach for a number of years, from a news anchor reporter to just utilizing my own social media as my platform and brand, to now I've done a lot of coaching and training with coaches, but now being one of the co-founders of Girl Power Alliance and a Kingdom Speaker Academy coach, just watching that whole trajectory. People still need the basics. Everybody's looking to shoot from not saying anything at all to being a paid speaker on stage, but there's so much that goes into that, and so much that you have to be able to pour out and refine until you find that vein and that lane. And a lot of these people that are coming into this are just finding that lane, but then we're also having quite a few that have been speakers before that are looking to push out the worldly stuff that they learned and draw in the kingdom principles to make their talks, their Kim 10s, even that much more impactful. It's just really cool to watch it all unfold.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so we talked about the in-person certification too. Can you talk about that whole experience and what that was like? Because I would encourage everybody to be there, to be honest.
It was, let's put it this way, the certification, we only do one of those certification rounds every year. So what that is, it's something that's a little bit extra. It's you saying, hey, I want more personalized feedback on my Kim 10, and I'm going to deliver it on stage. You're also going to be receiving a professional recording of your Kim 10. So there's some extras that are in there. When we were in the room, because this was our first one, we really didn't know what to expect. But like I mentioned earlier, it was quite literally just revival by testimony in the room. Just each woman that got up to see what they did day one to deliver their practice round, then day two, take the feedback that we gave them lovingly, supportively, so they could have an even more impactful recording the following day. To watch some of these women go from 50 to 5,000 overnight was like, whoa. And to be so open and receptive. And I think that's something that is so important to talk about, because so many people they get criticized all around, but it's the feedback, the loving, the compassion, the, hey, you did great, and I want to give you some more just to be able to help you where you're already going. It was just absolutely incredible. So we actually had that event right before we had our annual event called Activate here at GPA. We'll never do that again. We'll never butt these two events back to back, because it was just to be able to sit in what happened, just to see the way that the Lord moved, and these women saying, you know what, it's my turn. I'm going to get on stage because my story matters, because of other people that need to hear it. Just unreal. It left us all as coaches just completely undone for a while after the event.
Yeah, that event was intense. Like I was talking to my husband and I'm like, I'm so thankful that next year I don't have that event before our conference, because that was the most emotionally exhausting 5 days, 5 or 6 days of my entire life, because women were so vulnerable and open, and the feedback was incredible. And that I thought was really special too. So for you guys who are listening, dress rehearsal day, like you had your time slot, we were emailed a schedule, and you could have literally come in, spent 15 minutes in the room and left and gone and done something else. And I don't know that very many people did. I think the room was full almost the entire time, both days, as people were just taking in feedback from everybody. And so, Molly, I know you weren't there, but the first night, a bunch of us went to dinner and literally everybody was recording for everybody, which was really beautiful. There's multiple people who recorded everybody's feedback. And so we're all sharing each other's feedback and reworking Kim Tens together at dinner. And we ended up sitting at dinner for 2+ hours, just reworking everybody's signature talk. And I'm like, this alone, I feel it was worth it. The feedback and then the community support, and people were sharing the most vulnerable, intimate things about themselves. And there was nothing but intense support for every single person there. And so if you're thinking, I would 10 out of 10 recommend that you do that, because it was incredible for sure.
I love hearing that. And that would be something I would never know, because you're right, I wasn't there. But for all of you to take it that step further of, okay, let's do this together. Let's really maximize why we're here. And let's just scale it back even further. There's some women that, actually a lot of women probably in that room and of course outside the room, that have huge trust issues with women. Vulnerability is like a curse word to people. They're like, absolutely not. I'm never going to go there. Forget it. And to be able to have that space where you can open that up. Some people may be like, oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, to that stuff. Honestly, that probably would have been me like 7+ years ago. I'd have been like, yeah, no, you won't catch me doing that. But the Lord had to do such a reworking of my heart of, no, this is where the true power lies, is us coming together, working together, coming alongside each other, trusting each other, and cheering each other on. What does the enemy want to do? Divide, split, competition. You're my competition. I can't trust you. You can't trust me. And so there's division everywhere, but God's about multiplication. So I love the fact that you all went that much further. And then the multiplication that came after that, what people heard, what they were open to receiving, was something so much deeper. So yeah, the room was full. And we definitely, as a coaching staff, were like, okay, next year we're going to, in some kind of capacity, have the room be open so people can hear, because there is so much value just even as an audience member, but then also somebody who is delivering a Kim 10 of, even though the feedback wasn't directed at you, you're like, ooh, that resonates with me. And I want to be able to adjust my message because I felt like that was important. So good. It was so good.
It was so good. I recommend you guys like give out notebooks and pens for everybody when they come to this event next year,
Yes.
because you're going to need it. The feedback, it was so good. And just, yeah, I love what you said. There was no competition. Nobody was weird about what we were doing. Everybody was so incredibly supportive. Like it was a radically different environment. And I grew up doing dance and cheerleading where it is very competitive and people want to rip each other's throat out and it's very mean girly. And so I never thought I would be in a community with women. And my husband and I joke about this because he's in a fraternity and stuff. I'm like, we have less issues here with a group of women and there's more of us, right? Like he's got 50 dudes in his chapter and there's 1,000 of us here. I'm like, we have less issues here than you guys do because it's just a completely different perspective. It's a completely different mindset. And women are just open and caring. And it's a radically different place.
I love it. That is actually hilarious. The fact that there's less drama here than there is in a fraternity, but it just, the environment matters. Who you surround yourself with matters. your own mental health of like, how are you viewing other people? Are they all competition, or are they somebody that you can come alongside and collaborate with, get to know without any gain? The world is so self gain focused. And here it's very like, how can we support each other by, but also prioritizing, I need to pour into me first, put the oxygen mask on first, because my story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else. They need to hear it. And if I'm so caught up in trying to protect something that, anyways, thinking that somebody's going to try and take it, which isn't true. Like, you have so much to give, and just get out there and give it. And this program over and over again just gives women, and will give men, that permission of, look, you don't have to be the best speakers in the world, the Brendon Burchards, the Grant Cardones, or whoever it is that you look up to, male or female. It's you versus you, the Lisa Bevere's or whoever. It's, you have to be able to go in there and practice and get those reps in front of live audiences. You can't just practice behind the scenes. You got to get that live experience as well in order to really refine. And there's going to always be things that you need to refine. I've been doing this for well over a decade. Michelle Schaefer, who's also a coach, well over 2 decades. Lisa Vanderquack, over 3 decades. So collectively, that's 60 years of experience. But each one of us, what we have in common is we're always like, how can we improve our craft? We do know a lot. This is a gifting. This is a mantle. However, doesn't mean that we're done. There's always something you can be learning if you're open to that. That heart posture of being open is huge. And you get to learn so much more than just what meets the eye.
I love that. So the class starts in April, right? The next round, we start in April, and you're the first coach. So will you give like a quick overview of those 9 weeks for anybody who's, yes, I actually do want to do this?
Gosh, yeah, I will. There is so much. So I'm just going to give a brief, like what comes off the top of the head, because we pack out this 9 weeks. We pack this sucker. It's everything from starting with the mind, right? Getting clarity in the mind. A lot of people don't even know where to begin, how to categorize their thoughts. And so that's a big part of what I talk about is, you got all this chaos roaming around up here. How do you categorize it so you can look at a document, if you will, and pull out, hey, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to be able to get this done in X amount of time. To then how you're connecting with your audience, your body language, your tonality, movement. A lot of the women that did the Kim 10 certification learned a lot about movement, utilizing the stage, utilizing the room, your hands, not just staying stuck and still, because movement brings more energy into the talk or evokes a different kind of emotion. Gosh, there's so much more, but I'm just going to leave it at that. And so there is that deep dive of, you're going to be so supported. Plus, there's a workbook. There's accountability partners to be able to partner up with people to really be able to get that feedback. If that freaks you out, don't freak out. It's all about honing in and refining your craft. And we're meant to do that in community. We're meant to do that together. We're not just meant to hide our gifts under a basket. We got to let the light shine, right? So that is just a tiny little snapshot. But if you have been speaking for a long time, or maybe you've never really spoke at all, and you really want to be able to figure out, what does your voice even sound like? This is for you. Because we have women come in here as well that are on all ends of the spectrum, but especially women that have been speaking for a long time, because they have that open mind of, I'm always going to be a student. And then again, it's just revival. You get to hear people's stories over and over again. So it's just breeding more hope and more light, and hearing other people's testimonies, if you will, or their short story, their Kim 10, of what has impacted their life, or how they want to impact you, the audience that's listening.
I love that. Y'all, you do want to take this. It's 9 weeks. It's live, you're on a Zoom call with the coaches. It's not pre-recorded or anything like that. But let's say somebody's listening to this and we've got a whole month before KSA starts. What could they do in the meantime?
Ooh, I love this. So we definitely have some live speakers inside of the VIP membership, because you would sign up as a VIP, that are going to be speaking into just the topic of speaking, like other experts, whether it's one of the coaches or even somebody else. So we stack that intentionally. Also, we have over half a dozen and counting speaking courses inside of the membership as well. So these are really great to do ahead of time, because you're actually going to get a good introduction to some of the trainers, the KSA trainers, and then just good groundwork before going into it. That's really going to be able to prep you. So that is going to be the best route to go. I recommend that for everyone. Of course, you could just jump in and see what happens. But if you really want to be an impactful speaker, it starts today. It starts, what are you going to say yes to? What are you going to do today? It doesn't start when the class starts. And I think that's a big misconception. Oh, I'm going to wait till the class starts. Zero prep work. Anybody who's successful at anything needs prep work. So being in that environment, getting settled, getting acquainted, already pouring in to get familiar, so then you can really be open to receiving, that is going to be the best bet for you.
I love that. All right, friend. If you were to leave somebody final piece of advice, they're like, Molly, I think I want to do this, or they're like sitting on the fence, what would you say to them?
Why are you sitting on the fence? Why are you sitting on the fence? Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, you want to create a business, you're a woman in ministry, you run a nonprofit, a 9-to-5, Fortune 500, everyone needs to be a better speaker. Everyone's voice deserves to be heard. Your voice deserves to be heard. So why you're sitting on the fence is beyond me. Jump in and let's connect. Let's get in there to say yes, because we could always think of the reasons why we shouldn't, but where's that gotten you? Nowhere that you want to be, because you're here right now listening to this, wanting to do something different. So let's do something different. 2024 is the year of more. And this is going to be that more for you to really unlock something that is going to be such a benefit for you and everyone around you. So get off the fence and come join us.
I love that. And guys, you can get on a call with myself and Molly. There's a sneak peek in the show notes for you. And then once you're in, I will send you a message and you can actually come meet myself, meet Molly, get on Zoom. We're not scary. We're normal people. And we can talk about why this would be a good fit for you, answer any questions that you have. And so just thank you, Molly, friend. I deeply appreciate you so much. You guys will love her. I promise you will love her. You will love all of her feedback. She is one of the kindest and most supportive people that I know. And you cannot be in better hands learning from Molly. So thanks, friend.
Aw, thank you.
Y'all, I just loved recording with Molly so much. Molly and I actually just dropped a course inside of Girl Power Alliance together on social media marketing, which you're going to need if you're going to be a Kingdom speaker anyway, inside of the Girl Power Alliance membership. And so you could actually get that course, which we charged clients $20,000 for back when we were consulting. And so you can get that course and the Kingdom Speaker Academy all for $399 US. That is amazing. So if you know this is for you, if you know that you're meant to be a speaker, then I would encourage you to come and get into the Kingdom Speaker Academy, my friend. I cannot wait to see you in there. Hey friend, what a joy it has been to share today's journey with you. If you found a spark of inspiration or a nugget of wisdom that resonated, would you bless someone else by sharing this episode with them? It could be the encouragement they need to step into their purpose and calling. Also, if you could spare a moment to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I really appreciate your feedback and it really helps our community grow. Remember, the road to discovering God's call for you isn't one you have to walk alone. So join me again next Monday for another episode where we'll continue to explore the depths of leadership and the heights of our heavenly calling. Until then, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep trusting in His plan. God bless you, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, friend.